You're watching Fox 21 News at 6:30, bringing you the most local news. We are Southern Colorado.
Tonight on Fox 21 News, police identifying the individuals who lost their lives during the mass shooting at Club Q in Colorado Springs. How they're being remembered tonight.
And they saved lives while sacrificing their own. 2 people took the gunman down and avoided further bloodshed. What we know about the people being hailed as heroes tonight. Good evening. Thanks for joining us for Fox 21 Local News at 6:30. I'm Taylor Bishop.
And I'm Scott Kilbury, and we are Southern Colorado. First on Fox 21, the 5 people killed at Club Q this weekend have been identified.
The shooting happened Saturday night at Club Q, an LGBTQ nightclub in Colorado Springs, located off North Academy Boulevard near Carefree Circle. Colorado Springs police correcting the number of victims in the shooting today. 5 people were killed and 19 others injured, 17 from gunshot wounds.
The Associated Press and others are reporting the attack ended when someone grabbed a handgun from the suspect and hit him with it. That person had the suspect pinned down when police arrived around midnight. Police have identified the suspect, but per Fox 21 protocol, we will no longer say his name.
And we now know the names of the people who lost their lives. Ashley Poe, a mother who was known through her work at Kids Crossing, a nonprofit that helps find loving homes for foster children. Derek Rump and Daniel Aston, both bartenders at Club Q.
Raymond Green Vance, he went to Club Q for the very first time on Saturday night with his girlfriend. He's been together with since middle school, and her parents, and Kelly Loving, who her sister called someone everyone loved.
Right now, a vigil is being held outside of Club Q to honor those victims.
Fox 21's Maggy Wolankse is at the vigil right now. Maggie, what are you seeing?
Many in our community. Yeah, I'm out front of the memorial right now where a vigil is being held. There's a speaker right behind me who just moments ago started doing moments of silence for the 5 lost at the shooting over this weekend. This area is filled with cards, notes, toys, candles, and crosses to remember all of those who were lost. Just minutes before, "We shall overcome" chanted in the crowd. There are people here of all ages sharing hugs and tears. 5 crosses are in place to remember those lost, and those in the crowd have been going up to sign them. I've also been seeing several notes including "Love trumps hate," "Teach your children to love when the world teaches them to hate." We will continue to listen to the statements that will be coming from the co-owners of Club Q. The emotions are high, but the love is clearly held right now at the memorial. Those who have been driving by on North Academy, you can hear them honking on their horns and sharing their support to those in the crowd right now. Reporting live in Colorado Springs, Maggy Wolankse, Fox 21 News.
Thank you so much, Maggie. Well, we're hearing from the mother of one of the victims of Saturday night's mass shooting.
Sabrina Aston describing her 28-year-old transgender son Daniel as someone who was eager to make people laugh and cheer. She said it started as a child in Tulsa, Oklahoma, when he would wear elaborate costumes, including the Beast from Beauty and the Beast, and write plays acted out by neighborhood children.
After coming out to his mother, Daniel went to college in Oklahoma and became president of its LGBTQ club. He moved to Colorado Springs 2 years ago and started working at Club Q as a bartender and entertainer.
I can't remember when he started at Club Q, but that was the first job he had, and he loved it. He had, did good. And he did what he loved to do, bartending, and then he got to do, shows, put on shows and things like that.
Sabrina said she first heard about the attack 2 o'clock on Sunday in the morning, and her son had been shot. She and her husband, Jeff, rushed to the hospital and were eventually put in a private room where detectives asked them questions as authorities worked to identify the bodies.
The couple was sent home without any update until a detective and a patient advocate knocked on their door later that morning and confirmed their son had passed away.
UC Health Memorial Hospital Central in Colorado Springs says that they are currently caring for 10 patients who were injured in the shooting. 1 patient has been discharged. 3 patients from the shooting are still at Penrose Hospital. We have more information on fox21news.com on how you can help the victims as they continue to recover.
Meanwhile, investigators say they know many were at Club Q during the shooting who may be victims with no visible injuries. An example is a community member who ran out as the shooting occurred. They want anyone in the community who might have been a victim or has information about a potential victim or might have seen something to contact the FBI at the number right there on your screen.
Colorado Springs police also identifying the two people inside the club who were able to subdue the shooter and possibly save more lives.
Their names are Thomas James and Richard Fierro. Fierro, an Army veteran, and his wife own a well-known brewery in town, Atrevida Beer Company. Investigators cannot share much about what they did to stop the attack because it's part of the ongoing investigation. But Colorado Springs Mayor John Suthers did say he has spoken to both men over the phone.
I had the opportunity before I came here today to talk to Richard Fierro, identified as one of the two heroes that subdued the suspect in this case, and in my opinion, I think the opinion of everyone involved, saved a lot of lives. I won't talk about, the nature of what he told me about the incident. I will just simply talk about I have never encountered a person who had engaged in such heroic actions that was so humble about it. He simply said to me, I was trying to protect my family.
Some new information that we are able to get today is alleged shooter is facing 10 preliminary charges, meaning no charges have been formally filed at this time.
Those charges include 5 counts of first-degree murder and 5 counts of bias-motivated crimes.
The suspect is currently in the hospital, is being held without bond, and the court has sealed his arrest affidavit until the investigation is complete.
A year and a half before the shooting, police charged a man with the same name as the suspect following a bomb threat at the Lorson Ranch neighborhood in El Paso County.
Back in 2021 of June, deputies say a woman claimed her son was threatening to harm her with a homemade bomb and told her that he had multiple weapons on him. Deputies responded to the home near Pilgrimage Road, and after hours of negotiations, they arrested a 21-year-old. Now, police have not confirmed this man is the same person who has been charged in the Club Q shooting, and this case has been sealed by Colorado courts. The district attorney says the case could be unsealed in due time. Still ahead, the rest of the country's message to Colorado Springs, how the nation is honoring Club Q. And a survivor injured in Saturday night's shooting shares his perspective at the tragic events.